Hey guys, time for a quick video on 5 more Hall of Famers. Start off with this oldie, but a goodie, 1925 Turf Cigarettes, George Sisler. I mean, look at this card. Doesn't say on the front who it is, but you can see on the back it says it's George Sisler. Nickname, Gorgeous George. Has a lifetime WAR 57.1, ahead of guys like Rickey, Louis Aparicio, and Joe Gordon. 221st all time. 2-time batting title, 2,812 hits, 102 home runs, 375 stolen bases, 340 batting average, and 1922 MVP. In 1920, 257 hits was a record for a season until Ichiro broke it in 2004 with 262. Played college baseball at University of Michigan. His mother wanted him to go to college, so he kept that promise. His college coach was Rickey. Won the 1914 College National Championship with Michigan. Graduated from Michigan in 2015 with a degree in mechanical engineering. Missed 1923 year with sinusitis, caused double vision. So, he missed the whole season. And plus, it hurt him throughout the rest of his career. He had a lot of errors. They thought it was due to this double vision. He didn't drink. He didn't use tobacco, and he refrained from swearing. And is now buried at the old Meeting House Presbyterian Church Cemetery in Frontenac, Missouri. George Sisler. Next, the Man of Steel, S-T-E-A-L, Rickey Henderson. I've showed this card here before. This is my, 13, when I was 13 years old, bought it at a yard sale. I think it was $20 for this, and then $10 for Nolan Ryan. Kept it ever since. Just recently had it graded. 111.1 WAR, 19th out of all time. 19th out of all baseball players ever for WAR. Ahead of players that you may have heard of, named Mickey Mantle, Albert Pujols, Roberto Clemente. 1990 MVP, 10-time All-Star, 2-time World Series, 3-time Silver Slugger. ALCS MVP, a Gold Glove, 3,059 hits, 279 average, 1,406 stolen bases, which is one of the records he holds. 1,115 RBIs, 297 home runs. His stolen bases are 50% higher than the next guy, Lou Brock, with 938. He did get caught stealing 335 times, which is a record. He holds the records, of course, for stolen bases, unintentional walks, and leadoff home runs. Was born in Chicago in 1958 in the backseat of an Oldsmobile. He said that he was already fast. He couldn't even wait to get to the hospital. He was born to the name Rickey Hensley. His dad died at the age of 10. He was adopted as a junior in high school, and he took the Henderson name. He is one of only 57 known baseball players, this was as of 2008, to bat right and throw left. He said all his friends were right-handed. He just thought that's how it was done. He has, this is a record, 796 walks leading off an inning. You know how bad it is to lead off an inning with a walk. And the worst player to do it to was Rickey Henderson. He just had a knack of drawing walks. And when he got on base, he would make you pay. Very, very underrated. This card here. He's a really, really good player, of course, so that's one reason it's high. But this is like the last true rookie card. In 1981, I think Fleer came along. So there was, multiple cards, but I think 1980 was the last year that it was just Topps. So they say that's why this one is so high. But he's 19th all-time in WAR. Still underappreciated in the hobby. Rickey Henderson. Next player, early Wynn. Nicknamed Gus. Lifetime 61 WAR ranks him 177th all-time, ahead of players like Zach Wheat and Jim Bunning. Spent 1945 in the military, 300 wins, 3.54 ERA, 2,334 strikeouts, 9-time All-Star, an ERA title, 1959 Cy Young. He kind of struggled to get his 300th win. He was at 299, and he came back, and it took him, I think, 4 or 5 starts to get it. But he did get it. Ted Williams said he was the toughest pitcher that he ever faced. He was known kind of to be tough on batters. He would brush them back and knock them off the plate. He said he would knock his own grandmother down if she dug in on him in the batter's box. And, they got to question him about, how hard he was on pitchers and stuff. He said, why should I worry about hitters? They're not worried about me. They may turn on one and knock it up the middle at 110 miles an hour. They're not worried about me. One time Rod Carew said that, after he had retired as a professional baseball player, he did a lot of managing stints. He said if you hit one hard off of him in BP, he would knock you down. He would knock his own players down in batting practice and then try to challenge you. He was just a man's man and wasn't going to take nothing. And he had the ball in his hand. Early Wynn. Gus. Next. This Gem Mint 10. Look at here, boys. You don't see a lot of these. This is a Nestle, but Dave Winfield. Lifetime 64.2 WAR. 147th all time, ahead of players like Mark McGuire, Shoeless Joe Jackson, and Todd Helton. 12-time All-Star. 1992 World Series, 7 Gold Gloves, 6 Silver Sluggers, 3,110 hits, 283 batting average, 1,833 RBIs, and 465 home runs. Was drafted by three different sports. ESPN named him the 3rd best all-around athlete of all time. In 1980, he signed a 10-year, $23 million contract with the Yankees, which was the highest contract ever. But George Steinbrenner kind of misinterpreted the cost of living clause that was in the contract. He thought he was signing him for $16 million, but it ended up being $23 million. Well, this drove Steinbrenner nuts, and he started a public feud with his best player, Dave Winfield. I mean, he went after this guy hard, would release salacious stories, fictional stories. He went after derogatory stuff. He even said one time, he said, "Where's Reggie Jackson at?" He said, "We need a Mr. October, or we'll even settle for a Mr. November." And he said, "We got Dave Winfield. He's Mr. May." Steinbrenner made managers move him down the lineup and bench him at times and continually tried to trade him. But he was what they called a 10-5 guy back then. There was a clause. He'd been in the league for 10 years and spent 5 years with one team, so he couldn't be traded unless he wanted to. Plus, he had a no-trade clause. Steinbrenner hired a guy named Howard Spira. He was a known gambler with links to the mafia or the mob. He paid him $40,000 just to dig up dirt on Winfield, which Steinbrenner would then release to the media. He was trying to destroy this guy, all because of he didn't understand his contract, and he felt like he got outsmarted a little bit by Winfield. The MLB found out that Steinbrenner had paid this $40,000 to this gambler, and they gave Steinbrenner a lifetime ban. But later it only lasted 2 years, I think, and of course Steinbrenner got out of it. He had so much money. So Dave Winfield, great player. I don't know why Steinbrenner was so hard on him, but he was a great, great player. The next player, our newest member of the Hall of Fame, and this beautiful 1995 Donruss Elite card. Fred McGriff, the Crime Dog, 52.6 WAR, 277th all-time, ahead of players like Kirby Puckett, Ted Simmons, and Fred Lynn. 5-time All-Star, 1995 World Series winner, 3-time Silver Slugger, All-Star MVP, 284 batting average, 2,490 hits, 493 home runs. He would have got to 500 if it wasn't for the strike-reduced year. 1,550 RBIs. 10 seasons with over 30 home runs. High school, or the scouts were at one of his high school games to watch actually Dwight Gooden. And he cranks a long bomb home run off Dwight Gooden, and that got scouts on his trail. And he later signed to play college baseball for the Georgia Bulldogs. Was in 50 postseason games with a 303 batting average. Fred McGriff, the Crime Dog. Welcome to the Hall of Fame. And got a bonus card here. This is one I just got back from SGC and the gift from Clemente Collector. But I wanted to give just so we could show it. This is the one I love the back of. Look at the back of that card. All right, guys, thanks.